everyone, and today we'll be discussing a rapid fire question and answer with our cloud team. And I'm thrilled to be joined by Dharmik here. Hi Dharmik, hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, and thank you. And today I'll also invite our cloud team experts, Bimal, Nishit, and Rizwan.
Hello.
Hi all, how are you doing all?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, doing great.
Okay. I'm sure that you all are excited for the rapid fire session.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for having us. So today we are starting with the first question with Bimal. Okay, Bimal. First, welcome to our show and welcome to our session. So, what is actually a serverless architecture?
Sure. Thanks for inviting. So basically, your serverless architecture is that you do not need to manage the baseline underlying hardware. That cloud service provider automatically scales and scale up and scale down as per the requirement. So that is called as serverless. So serverless doesn't mean that it is run without servers, but yeah, you do not need to manage the hardwares for the servers that are your application is running on.
Okay. Great answer. So, Nishit, I'm questioning the first question that how does serverless architecture apply to React.js frontend?
Yes, sure. So basically, serverless is applied to React.js typically rely on the static hosted service like AWS S3, AWS Amplify, and Vercel. So where by using this application, we can get the benefit of the high availability, auto scaling, and cost saving.
Okay. Dharmik, would you like to ask question?
Yeah, I understand the concept of serverless architecture. I would like to ask the question to Remy. What are the key benefits of using Node.js backend in serverless architecture?
Okay, so Dharmik, I would say Node.js is event-driven language. Node.js supports high numbers of input-output operations, and it can support multiple user base at the same time. So that's why in the serverless architecture, Node.js is used.
Okay, so Nishit, what is Sequelize and how does it fit into serverless Node.js backend?
Sequelize is a object relational mapping tool for Node.js that provides a way to interact with database like PostgreSQL and MySQL.
Okay, so Remy, what are the challenges of using Sequelize in serverless Node.js backend?
So Dharmik, basically developers faces many challenges during the serverless architecture development in Node.js. Main challenge I've seen the developers face is like the how developers can manage the database connections and the connection pool and efficiency of its size, because serverless is like stateless in nature, and we need stateful connections in the right connecting front end and back end. So basically these are some challenges that developers face in the serverless architecture in Node.js.
Thank you, Remit, for a great answer. And I would like to ask the next question to Nishit. How can Sequelize connection pooling be optimized in a serverless setup?
Yeah, thank you for asking. In serverless setup, while we are doing connection pooling, so we are facing major challenges for too many connections. So to resolve this, we can use AWS service like AWS RDS Proxy.
Okay. Thank you so much for your great answer. Bimal, I would like to ask the next question. How can React.js frontend communicate to Node.js backend in serverless architecture?
Yeah. So basically, React.js frontend requires HTTP endpoints to connect with the APIs. So basically, Amazon API gateway is a best way that you can connect to the Node.js APIs from the front end.
Okay. And Nishit, I would like to ask the next question. What is the role of API gateways in serverless Node.js backend?
Yes, so basically API gateway is using HTTP endpoint, and role is to manage the in and out traffic and security.
Okay. Dharma, would you like to continue, please?
Yeah, I would like to ask a question to Vimal. How does data scaling work in serverless architecture?
Yeah, definitely. So basically, if you are using Amazon Aurora as serverless, but I know it depends on the load. When the user load increases, it increases, and when the user load decreases, it decreases. So in terms of Sequelize, if you are using Sequelize database, then Amazon RDS Proxy will be the best convenient way to manage the connection ports to the backend APIs.
Yeah. Thanks, Vimal. So, what your database solutions are used in serverless architecture with Sequelize?
So Dharmik, basically there are many vendor specific solutions that you can use for the Sequelize. If you are using AWS, I would say go for RDS, or if you want to go for totally serverless, then you can go for serverless Aurora, which provides mainly two database options, PostgreSQL and MySQL. If you are going for Azure or Google Cloud, they have their all options for the databases.
Okay, so I see many benefits in this. So, Vimal, can you please specify the benefits of using serverless architecture in React.js and Next.js?
Yeah, definitely. If you are having a dedicated server in your own premise or in the cloud, then you are investing a more. Even you do not know that how many scaling requires. So serverless is pay as you go. So you are paying what you are using.
That's great.
Yeah, this is the great advantage of serverless. And if you are using front end React with Node.js backend, then definitely sometimes your users are increasing. You need 100x capacity. Then serverless handles it easily. So that is the best advantage of serverless architecture.
So, great insight, Vimal. So, Nishit, how do you handle the authentication in serverless architecture with React.js and Node.js?
Yeah, so for the authentication in AWS, we can use AWS Cognito as a service. By using that, we can leverage the benefit like security, then authentication, then we can store the login information, etc.
Okay. And Vimal, I would like to ask the question that how do you consider the performance authentication in Sequelize in serverless backend?
So basically, if you are allowing access to particular user, those are really needed, then you are setting up security in place. Just like if you do not need to provide access column A to user B, and if you are giving that access to user C and D, then your security is not in place. So you have to go with the role-based authentication, or you have to keep the user restricted to particular its access tables. So that is how you can maintain the security.
Okay. And Remit, I would like to ask the another question that how can you handle the environment variable and configuration in serverless Node.js backend?
So basically, that's the vendor specific options again. So if you are going for AWS and if you are going for AWS Lambda functions, which is a serverless service. So in the Lambda, you can find an option in the settings menu where you can set up the environment variable for that specific code you are putting in there. And same goes for Lambda, same goes for Azure and GCP as well.
Thank you.
Okay, understood. So, Vimal, what are the trade-offs of using serverless architecture for React.js and Node.js?
So basically, the trades of improve potential code delays, code start, and especially that is for long-running applications. So for that, you need to prevent it, and that is why if you are going with the serverless with any specific cloud architecture, then there will be a locking. You might get logged in for particular cloud service, and that is why you need to have more team, and you need to be having a good strength to build a serverless environment.
Got it. Yeah, great insight, Vimal. So, Nishit, what are the common tools to handle the serverless architecture?
Yes, so if I talking about the public cloud providers, so there are different for every cloud provider. So first for the AWS, we can leverage the AWS Lambda and API gateway. For the Azure, we can use the Azure function, And for the Google Cloud, we can use Google function.
Remit, how does serverless architecture impact the deployment process?
So basically, I would say that it simplifies the deployment process of very easily, and developers do not need to worry about anything other than code. They just need to code the function or the things that they want to code, and they just need to upload it into the cloud. For example, if they are writing a Lambda function, they do not need to worry about how I will deploy it and what do I need to write or web server configuration. They just need to write the code and deploy it. And the AWS will take care of everything in the behalf of developers. It will just run and it will just run the function.
Okay. And Bimal, the last question. And what are the best practices for building serverless Node.js and React.js architecture?
Definitely. So use API gateway and deploy your services in smaller parts in Lambda or microservices, which is the best suitable option for you. Delay a cold start. Keep running functions that are regularly using so that you can avoid delay start, cold time, that you can avoid it, and also you can have a cloud scalability and reliability as an advantage for that. So use different tools as per the requirement. If you are working on specific application, either it is a React.js, Node.js as a backend, and if you are using DynamoDB for IoT-based applications, there are multiple tools in IoT as well that you can leverage the cloud services for that. So we have multiple ways how we can make our applications smooth, how we can give a best user performance, and there are so many things that we need to actually have in mind before we deploy any infrastructure in place.
And that's wrap up. And we have shared a great insight for serverless backend, Node.js and backend.js. And thank you, Bimal, Nishit, and Remit. And thank you, Dharmik, for joining with us. Keep learning, keep building, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.